What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here. Today, just got a little chat, little chit chat, little state of the hobby, where things sit, card market, this, that, and the other thing. We are about a little over a month away from the National. The Atlantic City National, much ballyhooed, much discussed. Should you go? Shouldn't you go? Why you should go? Why you shouldn't go? Whatever, everything's crashing, everything's going to zero, market correction, market crash, all the nonsense out there. So I just kind of want to talk today, just kind of give kind of my 2 cents on where things kind of sit, where things are going, what it could pertain for the National and whatnot. My general premise is, and I'm just, we'll just kick right off with this. Yeah, card prices are coming down. They're correcting, they're crashing, once again, whatever you want to call it, normalizing, pick whatever term you want. It all basically says the same thing. A lot of card prices are falling back down again. Whether that's because they were overinflated to begin with, yes, they were, and we're going to see some pullback. Outside factors, the general world state, as we've discussed, the economy, inflation, war, general day-to-day life is messy right now. People have other things that they need to spend their money on beyond cardboard. But even though all that stuff was going on, I do feel, substitute whatever term you want, the hobby, the card market, whatever. Sports cards in general are still in a pretty solid place, even though prices are coming down. The reason why I think that is, a lot of people came in. A lot of people came in when the pandemic started. We didn't have anything else to do. We wanted to spend money. We had all this extra income. We wanted nostalgia. We needed something because we were all locked inside. A lot of people flocked to collectibles, cards, comics, toys, VHS, tickets, whatever, the whole 9 yards. A lot of people came in. A lot of people came in. And the hobby boomed. I think a lot of people forget that the cards market was ticking up before the pandemic even started. There was a lot of hype coming off of Luka and Trey leading into Zion and Ja. So the foundation was kind of already set to kind of just take this thing next level because it had really picked up interest then. I know Luka and Baker Mayfield are what brought me back in 2018, 2019. I wanted to get cards of those two players. And then the Zion and Ja thing happened on top of it. Then the pandemic started. Regardless, there's a lot of people like me that got suckered back into this big old money sink that we all call a hobby, side hustle, whatever. And a lot of those people enjoyed the ride. A lot of those people left. A decent portion of those people left. But guess what? A lot stayed. A lot of people hung around. They came back in, remembered how much they liked this, and are still here. Why do I think that? Because when you go to these card shows and these trade nights, they are busy. Foot traffic is insane at a lot of these things. I was at one-on-one trade night 2-3 weeks ago. Packed, filled to the brim, all ages, lots of young kids, lots of middle-aged kids, lots of young adults, and lots of people my age, 30s and 40s. Room was packed. Last Card Collector 2 trade night I went to a couple months ago. Packed. You could barely get in the room. My local shows, still extremely busy. Midwest Monster, very, very well attended. Now, to be fair, the Chicago show, not so much. Same weekend, but I think the Midwest Monster had something to do with that. Card Collector 2 Ryan is having another trade night in a couple weeks. I am sure that is going to be packed. I am planning on probably attending that. There's an upcoming Dallas show. That will be an interesting gauge as well as kind of where things sit right now. A lot of local regional shows are still very busy. People, the masses, are still very interested in cards. They're just not interested in spending a lot of money on cards right now. That is what we are seeing. Interest in the hobby is high. Interest in spending money on sports cards is not. Combination of factors, as we've discussed before: falling prices, People are a little scared, and just general day-to-day real world concerns that are going on right now. The real world is not as stable as it was a few months ago or even a year ago. That has caused uncertainty, and people just don't want to take risks right now. But they still want to be active in cards. We talked about it in the Is Card Shows Doomed video that I did about a week ago now. In fact, actually exactly a week ago. And my thought process behind that video was, and it was more like a question, not that I was declaring, is can travel card shows sustain if people just want to go there and trade? Because that's what you see. People want to go to the show and they want to, what I call, just shuffle cards around. They want to take their Pelican case, put it on a dealer table. Dealer has a cool card that they want. They want to exchange their cards and maybe a little bit of cash for a card that they want. So, they had fun. They had a whole day. You spent a little bit of money getting there. Maybe spent a little bit on cards. They shuffled some cards around in their case, come home with some new loot, get that endorphin hit, put them on their desk, put them in their case, display them, take pictures on IG, make a pickup video, whatever. Get that hit, get that feeling without actually having to spend a lot of money on it. You're not going out and spending 2, 3, 4K on a single card. You're also seeing the rise of a lot of low end. $50 to $150 stuff, I've been told over and over again from dealers, moves like hotcakes still. Value boxes still do extremely well. The stuff that people are willing to spend cash on, I feel like are more PC items, things that mean something to them. They're not just buying Lucas Silvers because they think it's going to go up 25% in the next 3 months. They're buying a Hall of Fame auto that they watched as a kid, or someone on their favorite baseball team, a current player. I think you're seeing a lot of that going on. Flipping Steve talked about it in his Raleigh show video, and I think it's pretty smart. He is looking to buy cards that have an end collector in mind. He talked about a Bo Jackson Frank Thomas card, dual auto, that he bought because it was a cool card. It wasn't something he wanted to keep. It was something that he knew someone out there is going to see that and they are going to want that card. That's part of the reason, I didn't pontificate this, but part of the reason I moved into a lot of Topps Dynasty stuff, the co-signers, things like that. If I'm going to spend a couple $100 on a card, I might as well make it something that is going to be desirable to somebody else. It's not just random PSA 9, Orange Disco, Pixie Dust, shout out Dakota, that do you think is going to go up or down 30% because they have a hot week. And you're seeing people flock more to established vets, Hall of Famers, on-card autos, and vintage. That seems to be what is attracting a lot of people's eyeballs right now. It's not like modern is dead or anything like that, but the things that people are willing to spend on, that seems like what it is outside of football. Football is still pretty much just holding on in the current card market space. So that's kind of where I see things sit right now. Where do they go from here leading up to the National? I will be very interested to see. I know, like I said, the next couple events that I have are some local shows, a Card Collector 2 trade night, which are always extremely well attended. And I'm not going, at least I don't think I'm going. I'd be shocked if I was going to go because of what travel expenses look like. What does the Dallas show look like? There's a Dallas show coming up. It is 2 weeks before the National, and then we have the National. So it'll be interesting to see what does that Dallas show look like, and then what does the National look like. The National, no matter how you slice it, there's been rumors going around that the National is saying they've already broken last year's attendance record. I'm calling BS on that one. Just based off of the city alone, I feel like the attendance would be down, even if the card market was in the same place that it was before. I think the National will be well attended. It's not going to be anywhere close to last year's levels, in my opinion. Travel is just way more expensive. Atlantic City is extremely inconvenient to get to and extremely inconvenient to stay at in the middle of the summer, just based off cost alone. Hotel rooms are outrageous, especially if you didn't book way ahead. The place that I booked has gone up 20 or 30% in rates since I booked it 5 months ago. The National is going to be interesting, though. I'm very curious to see how dealers are priced and how things shift throughout the weekend if the show starts kind of slow. and do dealers adjust? Because the one thing that we are seeing, and once again, I have seen this feedback a lot, tables at shows that are priced correctly are selling lots of stuff. So I do think people are out there trying to buy the dip. It's just a matter of, are dealers willing to sell at current market prices? And honestly, they probably should be. A lot of this stuff is not getting back up to where it used to be. So just cut your losses on the stuff that you should cut your losses on, and then maybe pick a few key cards that you think actually have a legitimate shot to get back up to a little bit more value. I don't, depending on when you bought, you're probably not getting back to even. But I do think the National will be an interesting test case for how the overall market is feeling and where are dealers at in regards to buyers. Are they willing to work with people? I think that's the dealers that are willing to sell at or slightly below current market prices, I think are going to have very good shows. The ones that aren't, I don't think they're going to, because in this environment, people are not putting cash on the table to pay at comps to even over comps on cards unless something really crazy happens in the next month or so. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, prices are going down. I still feel like the sports card world is extremely strong. There's still a lot of interest. You're still seeing a lot of foot traffic at shows, at events. And I think that continues. People still need an outlet. Even if they can't spend money on it, they're still going to be interested in it. The key is keeping those people interested and involved during this downtime, because eventually we are going to come out of this. And when I say this, I don't necessarily mean cards, just the general economic state that we're in. At some point in time, it's going to turn back around again. Someone tweeted about there's been 26 recessions and the market is 27-0 coming back from those, or whatever, something like that. There's basically been 26 market crashes and the market is 27-0. It's undefeated. It always bounces back. So the trick is keeping the people involved. So when the good times roll again, then this thing takes off again. Maybe that times up with Fanatics coming in full force. Who knows? And then there is, the looming specter of Fanatics coming out there. So yes, we're going to see a lot of red on our ledgers, on our market movers, card ladders, alt vaults, whatever the hell is that you keep track of your stuff on. You probably have a lot of red on that spreadsheet. Everybody else does. Make smart purchase decisions. Buy cards that other people are going to want. Buy cards, most importantly, that you want. And above all else, have fun. This is still fun. I bought 2 cards that I could have easily purchased on eBay in Indiana at the Midwest Monster, spent the money to travel, but you know what? I had a hell of a good time. I hung out for 2 days, talked cards, met a lot of cool people, made some new friends, reacquainted with old friends, and just hung out for 2 days. It was great. It was fantastic. And I'm excited for the National. I might not buy a single card at the National. Who knows? But I'm probably going to have a good time because I'm going to be hanging out with my friends for 3 or 4 days and probably make a bunch of new friends and relationships. So you can still be an active participant in the sports card world without throwing a lot of cash around. And I think that's the state that we're in right now. As always, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. Catch you guys and girls on the next one. I'm off to Comic-Con. Peace.